Hello, lovely people. There's this gist I want to give us about this couple. They loved themselves so much, and these guys decided to get married. They got married the first year, they didn't give birth. Second year, they didn't give birth. 5 years, they didn't give birth. 10 years, they didn't give birth. And he kept counting. These guys felt like we heard from God. Like this was something we thought God was involved in. And then at some point when the pressures of life came, and of course pressures from family, from friends, when it came, they felt like, okay, let us probably try and seek other means and see if there would be solution in there. And they sought every means, and babies wasn't coming forth. The guy felt frustrated and he was like, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. And he decided to try his potency with another lady. And boom, guess what? This lady got pregnant and gave birth. The wife was devastated. She was pained. She was hurt. I'll pause my story here and connect it with the story of Abraham and Sarah. Abraham, we all know Abraham to be a father of faith. But guess what? Abraham went through all of that as well. Abraham got married to Sarah, and for years these guys didn't give birth. Many people in the community would have been talking about them. But what is this guy doing? The first 5 years they will feel like, oh, maybe it's a deliberate action. Maybe they decided to take their time. But when 10 years passed, 20 years, 30 years, and nothing was coming forth, I am sure they would have become the gossip of the community. But there is one unique thing I have come to realize about God, and it is patience and perseverance. It is impossible to see the smiles on God's face. It is impossible to please God without having patience in our lives. Many of us, God has given us many promises. Prophets has come, they have told us, oh, you're going to be great. Oh, you're going to be this. Oh, you're going to be that. But it's looking like everything that has been promised, literally inverse of this is what you're experiencing in your life. And you're feeling like, you know what, all those prophecies are scam. God is saying, be patient. God is saying, can you calm down and wait on me? There is a track record of how God came through for the people of old. And if you look inwards, you realize that there are many times when you did not actually expect God to show up for you, but He did. So if He showed up for you when you did not expect it, how much more when you're expecting it? You're in a marriage and you're going through unexpected things. Marriage is so funny that sometimes, a lot of, when you see new couple, they enter into marriage with so much funny expectation. Entering that marriage with the ideology that everything is going to be smooth. But guess what? When life challenges come, when it looks like, oh, this was not what I envisaged for myself. When it looks like, oh, we had it all planned out, but it's going a different way. Do you give up and walk away? Or you choose to hold on to the promises of God for your life? For some persons, it might be financial challenges. For another person, it might be childlessness. And God is saying, persevere, be patient, wait on me, I am coming through. Especially if you're a child of God and you've committed this to God in prayers, trust God to know enough that He is a Father that hears and pays attention to the pains of His children. Patience and perseverance is one of the most important quality or virtue that we need to be able to navigate life. Without those two, it is literally impossible to see the hand of God, because God works in its hands with His own timing. And guess what? God lives outside of time, and so we cannot pressure him into doing what he doesn't want to do in our lives. We can't pressure God to do what he doesn't want to do in our lives. And no matter how much manipulative things or ideologies that the world system is putting in our hearts to do, to get to see the hand of God, to get to move the hand of God, if the timing is not right with God, it is not going to come to reality. And guess what? The devil comes with different means, different other options. And so if we are not willing to pay attention to the virtue that God expects of us, which is patience, we will miss it. And that was exactly what happened to Abraham, the father of faith, and Sarah. God had given them a promise. God had given them his word concerning the situation they were passing through. But Abraham fell into the trick and the deceit of the devil by opting to sleep with his maid rather than wait on the promises of God. Are we being pressured by the world system? Are we being pressured by the fact that our maids have gone far ahead of us? Are we being pressured by the fact that there are many options we can opt for since it's a world of technology? God is saying, wait on me. I am coming. I am coming. How many of us in this generation of instant noodles, in this generation of I want it ASAP, is really willing to wait for God's timing? Because when God says wait, by the time God is ready to move, he doesn't move normally. God moves big. God comes multiplying things God comes through in a way that it collapses time. And you see people who had waited on God for years of their life. By the time they're going to give birth, they will give birth to children that are spectacular. They give birth to multiples. God is a God who collapses time. He owns times and seasons. I am here to remind you that hold on to the promises of God, because he that will come and not tarry. Wait on him. He will come through. He is a faithful and a reliable God. You can always trust him. I hope you will think about this and hold on to the promises of God.